Okay, hi sisters. We're back for another video, and some brothers, I guess, maybe are here with us. I don't know. Um, we're going to talk a bit of a strange topic today. It's been on my mind for some time, and I have mentioned it off and on. But it's not till you get, really thinking at things from a perspective that is really too high in some sense until you've really got some foundation and some learning under you. A lot of learning, I can say, because I've been at this for, like I said, anywhere from 13 to 15 years now. And, the spirit will work to develop ideas within you that are kind of, a little bit suppressed until the spirit is ready to fully develop those ideas. So that's a way of saying what we're going to take a look at is this odd topic of, let me see what's it called. I got to read it. It is called, where's the word here? I'll get it. Oh my gosh. Parthenogenesis is what the term's called. And the reason why it just stuck with me is because the virgin daughter Zion, she's called virgin. So I'll preface everything I'm about to say, what I'm about to read here, with this little comment that I wrote on the bottom of my last video. I just read it this morning, so you probably ain't got to reading it. But this is what I said. It says, why was the virgin daughter Zion called virgin? And we get that all over the place. We also get Israel referred to as virgin Israel, right? I will rebuild you again, virgin Israel, virgin daughter Israel. So that term just stuck with me. Why is it always virgin with the daughter Zion or Israel? And we know that that's the woman's seed. All right, so it's her seed that we're talking about. We're not talking about the man seed, otherwise Israel would have been referred to as the man seed. It's the woman seed, Israel is. And the reason is because she did not turn her back on God's covenant as she was accused of doing wrongfully. So wrongfully accused by the accuser, who we've also identified. So why was the virgin daughter called virgin? Parthenogenesis is the ability to reproduce via a natural phenomenon known as parthenogenesis, a word which comes from the Greek for, what's the word? Virgin birth. You know what that means? Without sperm. That's what that means. Isn't that interesting? Because then they say, she brought forth a man child, but father this male child as the spirit, He was the spirit when he did that. Yet a virgin birth, which there's never been a record of ever, of parthenogenesis is without sperm. All right? That's interesting. So let's keep reading what I wrote. Deuteronomy 32:12. So the Lord alone. Let's look at that, because they love to say it's a man, it's father, son, all alone, our God. All right? I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on what was in the earth called God. And it was not Father, it was not Son. It was this daughter on the earth, and it seems like it may have been a core group of them. Now, I don't know if it's in reference to the entire allotment of planets that was removed from these daughters, or if it is just a singularity, one, as the presence of God on earth. So Deuteronomy 32:12. So the Lord alone did lead them, and there was no strange God. There we go with another title that you need to identify. Well, you know how you identify that term, strange God, we do on this channel. You find it in Malachi chapter 2. All right? And this is what we learned from Malachi chapter 2. We know this because it says the presence alone was called God on this earth. And when she led them, she states there was no male God with her. That's basically what she's stating when we understand Malachi 2. We know this because we know he, Adam, Judah is another name for Adam, married the daughter of a strange God is what they'll have you. Yet it says our ancestors did not know this strange God or fear this strange God. So we identified that strange God basically as Baal, and it is Baal, playing God. And so he took control of the next generation of little girls, which is a harlot spirit that this son marries. So he married the daughter, a harlot, that was taught by this strange god, Baal, how to bow to him as if he was God. So this strange god is Baal, of course. We know this because we know he married the daughter of a strange god. The daughter would be the harlot bowed at the feet of this male god. The strange god is Baal, of course, pretending to be the creator. She states, I was alone, yet you made male idols. The ancient is then seen calling this spirit forth in Isaiah 64. From all appearance, this was her personal allotment and birthright that man stole from her. Deuteronomy 32:18. Let's keep this one in mind. And boy, am I filling a page up of big writing. So Deuteronomy 32:18. You were unmindful of the rock. And for rock, they'll put God in some translations, your foundation stone that you denied. So she says, you were unmindful. You didn't care. You never paid attention of the rock that bore you, and you forgot the God who gave you birth. Now it says, writhed in pain to bring you forth. That's your mother that you forgot. That was your God. That was your rock. That was your foundation stone that you denied in the beginning. While we look at this in allegorical terms, there's truly a much larger picture that overlays it. When we bring in Draco, dragon, we then see the true allegory that the term Parthenogenesis leads us to, because some of the dragons can create without sperm, right? And so can, there's a condor, what is it? I forget what it is. It's the condor from California, apparently, that can create without sperm. So she also states she carried us in her womb all the days of old, though they got it he. Yeah. There is no mention of a male God. Isaiah 46:4, and even to your old age I am she, not he. And even to your old age will I carry you. I have made you, and I will bear you. Even I will carry, and I will deliver you. Now that's what it says. And for some reason, everybody wants to say, well, that's Father, Son, and, it's not Father and Son. She says, I was alone, repeatedly. Now, when we read certain passages, it absolutely validates that she may well have been like a dragoness, which is another way of saying wisdom, right? And in this chapter, we get absolutely everything validated that she created alone, and that this is the God you are to fear. All right? This is the God you are to fear. So 51 validates it when we get that overlay that is so hard to understand, and why the virgin daughter is called virgin daughter. So we'll go to a reference for that. Isaiah 30, let me see, where was it? I had it here. Right there. Isaiah 37:22. We've used this to study the key of David. This is the word which the Lord has spoken concerning him. So who was in view here? It was Sennacherib that she was doing this to, speaking of. The virgin daughter of Zion hath despised thee, and she has laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of peace, Jerusalem, hath shaken her head at thee. And she did. To whom have you taunted and blasphemed? It was her, the Holy One. Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes in pride? Against the Holy One of Israel. That was the virgin daughter of Zion. The virgin daughter of Zion. So, we go back to that I can never remember the phrase, Parthenogenesis, right? And if there's validation And there is, when you read Isaiah 51, when you get a handle on who's speaking to who. So hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the rock. Deuteronomy 32. Look to the rock whence ye are hewn from, your God, your mother, which hewn you from herself, and to the hole of the pit which ye are digged, right? Which you were dug out of. So we're dug out of where? Sheol. So look unto Abraham. Now let's correct this. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. Big deal. Who cares? For I called him alone. He alone is all I called. Sarah, get out of the way. He's going to give me all kinds of babies. He's going to create life for me. Abraham is, not Sarah. And blessed him and increased him. No. She pulled out her daughter Sarah. It should be, to her I called alone, and blessed her and increased her. Who was who? The woman's seed. It was not Abraham, the man's seed. It was the woman's seed. And we're going to get it further validated when you understand what is being said in this chapter. So we just looked at this for a different reason. But now we're looking at it for this reason. For the Lord shall comfort Zion, she, not he, shall comfort all her waste places, all her desert lands, and she will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord, like the Ancient of Days, like her mother. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. So you mocked wisdom. You continually mock her daily. The sons, Adam, Satan, same name, basically, the accuser who accuses her and mocks her daily, in the harlot right beside him doing it because he can't be bothered to actually reason with wisdom, their mother. She says, when I called, listen to me, my people, hear me, my nation, my daughters. Instruction will go out from me. Who's that? Wisdom, Proverbs chapter 1. My justice will become a light to the nations. Who's the light? Isaiah 49. And now saith the Lord that formed me from her womb to be her servant Israel, to bring Israel again to her. It says, then will the sisters come back. It's got brothers. No, it's the sisters. When the sisters are returned back to her sisters. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. And she said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of not Jacob, Israel, and to restore the preserved ones, the strong ones of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. That ain't a man in blood. You don't wash in blood. God says, I'll redeem you and make you my first fruits, a kind of first fruits of creation with my truth that I birth you with. And that takes you to Isaiah 55. Come to my waters freely and wash the blood and the filth of husband's dung off of you, his religious lies and law. That's Baal, your husband, playing God. Wash that filth and dung off of you, the Lord of dung. Yeah. Verse 7. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and her Holy One, to her whom man despises. And boy, didn't they. Did they despise the branch from the beginning, the daughter of Zion from the beginning. They despised her over and over, and they shoot at her with hate out of their mouths. They mock her daily. You watch these channels preaching their male idols. We're going to get to these male idols in this chapter. We already recognized that it was her with her instructions, as it is only wisdom that speaks of these instructions. Yeah. That was verse 4, wasn't it? No. I forget where am I? I'm in the wrong chapter, yeah. But in Isaiah 51, she says, listen to me, my people, hear me, my nation, Israel, my daughters. Instruction will go out from me. My justice will become a light to the nations. And so she tells you who her light is. It's her daughters of Israel, the woman's seed. And she said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant Israel to raise up the tribes of Israel and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel and her Holy One, to her whom man has despised, to her whom the nation abhorreth, to a servant of rulers. Kings shall see thee arise, and princes all shall worship, because of the Lord that is faithful. Our wisdom is faithful, our mother wisdom, and the Holy One of Israel, and she shall choose thee. So when we scroll down, we understand that it is Ephraim that she is speaking of, the firstborn of her womb, who will also be the light of the world. But Zion said, the Lord has forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me. And she says, but can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the daughter of her womb? Yea, they may forget you, my dear daughter, and they have. Oh, glory to Father, Son, screw you, mother and daughter. Yet mother says, why are you afraid of them? We're going to get to that in a minute. Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me, because it tells us over and over and over, they circled her like dogs and pierced and gnashed upon her until the spirit of her covenant was out of the land. Thy children shall make haste, thy destroyers, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves and come to thee. Shiloh, to whom the gathering of the people shall be, is told you right here in this verse, and it's female. As I live, saith the Lord, thou shalt surely clothe them all with them as an ornament, and bind them on thee, as a bride doeth. I think it should be translated as a spirit doeth, as a mother doeth, which is what she is, even though she's called a virgin. Yeah. For thy waste in thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. And that takes you to where? Isaiah 54, to the desolate spirit, and she is laying out her tent for her. She is actually stretching out the heavens for her, it says, because she says, who has gotten me these, right? That's what she says in verse 21 of Isaiah 49. She says, then shalt thou say in thine heart, who has begotten me these, seeing I have lost my children and am a desolate spirit, the abomination of desolation, a man inside of a man. Yet nobody wants to hear wisdom reason, using her daughters. A captive, and removing to and fro, and who has brought up these? Behold, I was left alone. These, where had they been? And then we know where they come from. They come from our mother wisdom. So when we go back to Isaiah, all of this validates who's speaking over and over again. It doesn't matter how much they use the he pronoun and say he's God. He is not the God we are talking about that was in the earth. The God that was in the earth was alone, it says. She says, there was no strange God. Baal was not with me. He was nowhere around. But he desired to marry his own daughter, right? Which was the harlot spirit. And we understand Esther. We got Esther. They want to bring Esther into it. We got what Esther was. She was a little girl. After they murdered the mothers of wisdom who could teach the next line of little girls how not to bow to a king, she says, I didn't tell you to bow to no man. They made laws and yoked you under them. After they stole the next generation of little girls and taught them how to bow to a king, because they did not want God, they wanted a king. That's what they wanted. Lift up your eyes to the heavens. So my righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and mine arms shall judge the people. The isles shall wait upon me, and on mine arm shall they trust. So it also states in Isaiah, where is it? I can't remember it. I pulled it up. Isaiah 42. Yeah, it's Isaiah 42. What does it say? It says, in verse, I think it's 4 again. It says, she shall not fail nor be discouraged till she have set judgment in the earth. And the isles, now I don't think it's isles on earth, I think it's talking about planets, shall wait for her lot in her allotment. It's she that gets caught up to her mother's throne, which is wisdom's throne, is what we're understanding. Which may well be Draco, right? But she got mad and turned her back on us too. So we get this double overlay again and again and again. And that may come when the guys were writing over her words. So that may be part of the reason why it's this overlay all the time. So my righteousness is near, my salvation has gone forth, mine arm shall judge the people. The eyes shall wait upon me, and on mine arm shall they trust. So that's her when she gets lifted up, the scepter. When she gets caught up to her mother's throne and she becomes the ruler or the potter, the rod that can smash the potter, or the pot, rather. The clay pots is what I'm trying to, which is also allegorical to the toes on the idol of a man as your Lord and God. The stone cut out was the stone rejected in the beginning, she, the virgin daughter, that they were rejecting. She's cut out without hands once again to smash the toes on that image of a male God. God is not male. And we get that in this chapter, validating that it is not. Watch what it says. Because God calls that male God your destroyer that you ain't got no fear of. That you really should have no fear of. And she's speaking to her nation of daughters and the few sons. So, lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. Hearken unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revilings. Don't be afraid of them. And she tells you why you have nothing to fear of these men who wants to revile you and reproach you, daughters, for speaking against their male idols. She tells you it. So there was some words here I wanted to look up because it triggered a thought, and I can't quite remember what it was now. So don't fear. Your law, her law is written on our hearts, on her daughter's heart. The seed of the woman is who we're talking about, which is represented by women and a few sons. And it seems that they are few. Reviling words. There was a reason that this struck me, but I can't remember what it was now because I didn't take notes. Vilification. And they do. They love to vilify, right? They absolutely vilify women. Just watch men. They live to vilify us and make themselves look pious and righteous, but you women better shut up. Long time have I held my peace, now will I go forth. But she tells her daughters, whose heart is it my instructions? Listen to me, you who know righteousness. The people in whose heart, I think it should be my daughters, in whose heart is my instruction. Do not fear disgrace by men, and do not be shattered by their taunts. And boy, don't they love to taunt woman. We're talking about the woman. See, we're looking at the women here. This is who she's actually talking about more and more you go on. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the worm shall eat them like wool. But my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation. Awake, awake! Put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Who's the arm of the Lord? Daughter Zion. Move ahead one chapter, tell you it's her, who's wearing a yoke of religious lies upon her neck. As in the ancient days, it's referencing us to the ancient of days, our mother. In the generation of old, art thou not she that has cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Indeed she did. Because Rahab, what does it say? To Pharaoh, you muddied my waters. And Rahab is another name for Egypt. and wounded the dragon. And she does. Because she does this, art thou not she which has dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, that has made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? Who? God, known as the presence of God on earth, known as the daughters. That's who it's known as. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return, and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. This is our mother speaking to us. I, even I am she that comforteth you, because she's the one who was given the instructions. Who art thou that thou shouldest be afraid of a man? Watch this. Watch this. Pay attention. It's not saying women. Oh, we can include them in there because, the men say that off and on. But no, you really can't. I am she that comforteth you, my daughter, which is a select group, a select nation. Who art thou who are you? Who are you? All right? Now ask this question. How bold you got to be to ask this question. So what's in view is what you got to be asking. Who art thou? Who are you? That you should be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass. And forgettest the Lord, your maker, your creator, your potter. They're all the same, she. Your maker. It'll take you to the word form. That has stretched forth the heavens. I made that. Made everything you see. I alone did that, she says. And there's good reason. We see a woman alone able to create life in her womb. You can say, well, that's sperm. Well, let's go back to the very beginning. She's called the virgin daughter. And I'm thinking there's a deeper reason behind it. And she's telling us it here. Right here, I believe in the next verse. But she says, who are you, dear daughter, dear daughters, that you should fear a man that I have made like the grass, who's just gonna die anyway? And forgettest the Lord thy maker, that has stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth. That's your stone, that's the daughter, comes straight from her mother, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of who? The oppressor. Who was the oppressor? Adam, the accuser, Satan. That's your oppressor. But watch. And has feared continually, you daughters, my daughters, who has nothing to fear by their revilings, by their tauntings. These men that are just going to die, has feared continually every day because of the fury of your oppressor, man, as if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? Oh, he speaks of his own fury. He's written his own prophecies, but can he truly fulfill them? She says, no. You want to know why she's saying? She's saying because he's not going to destroy anything that he can't create again, because he can't create it. So she says, where is the fury of the oppressor? Where is it? He can't afford to destroy it because he can't make it. Only she can. And that's what she keeps telling you. She says, boys, man, creating your father and son, God that don't exist. You keep saying, oh, this and that, you're going to burn in hell. She says it again down here too somewhere. Oh, pit, he's going to throw you in a pit. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. The pit she's talking about is hell, Hades. The captive exile, hasteneth that she may be loosed, and that she should not die in the pit. There you go. You're not going to die in no pit, no Hades, no hell, nor that her bread should fail. Why is your bread not going to fail? Because Mother creates all things. That's her glory out there. That ain't Father's. She made that. Father can't. Oh, but where is the fury of the oppressor? Oh, he loves to threaten, but he really can't do anything. Because if he were to wipe this creation out, he'd wipe himself out permanently, and he knows it. She can recreate, and she alone can do it. That's what she says. You say, oh, you got it all out of whack. No, I think something's really out of whack on planet Earth. That's what I think. And I think those false watchers with the eye in the sky has really worked on a breeding program that implements man as the creator and his sperm. And yet there's a suggestion in the Bible. There's a suggestion through that word virgin that she creates alone. The captive exile hasteneth that she may be loosed, and that she should not die in the pit in Hades, or in the womb of Sheol. Know ye not? Whence ye are cut from the rock? Yep, I do. Nor that her bread should fail. Ah, there's plenty out there. My mother, who creates. But I am the Lord thy God that divideth the sea. She is. Whose waves roared. The Lord of hosts is not his name, her name. You turned everything upside down. You told the maker, the creator, the potter, that she had no power over her own creation. And you told yourself you didn't have to fear me. Guess what? That glory out there that you want to say declares the glory of the Father. Oh no, that's my glory. And you denied the rock that formed and birthed you, writhed in pain to create you. You denied her. You can keep saying Father, Son, all glory. No, you're wrong. She says, I alone do this. Me. He's not with me when I do it. I do it alone. Me alone. And there's ideas with this word again, virgin of, what is it? Let me read it. Why was the virgin daughter called virgin? Parthenogenesis, able to reproduce via a natural phenomenon known as parthenogenesis, a word which comes from the Greek for virgin birth. But it was a son, and it was really the Father or the Holy Spirit that came upon her and impregnated her. Yeah. No, she did it all by herself. So they'll say, if you ask the question, is there a such thing as parthenogenesis occurring in human form? They'll say there's never been a recorded case. Yet all of those in religion who believes in the virgin birth of Jesus believes in parthenogenesis. You're going to be hard pressed to say that this isn't true. If you're going to say, well, it says in the New Testament. And I'm already telling you, in the Old Testament, it's already validated that she was the creator you denied. And she's called virgin for a reason. She didn't require a man to produce. That's why, and it sounds crazy to say, yet you will say, well, you're crazy, you're foolish, but you believe in the virgin birth of Jesus. Well, yeah, but that's because, well, really, she must have had sex behind a barn somewhere, right? I've actually heard some say that. They're not Christian, but they believe that. And I have put my words in thy mouth. So let's pick it up in 15. But I am the Lord thy God, and I divided the sea. It was the presence of God. And God says, when you turned on her, you turned on me. So, hey, they're kind of like this. They're one and the same. But I am the Lord thy God, and she was called God on the earth, and she, the presence, parted the sea, whose waves roared. And they roared against her. I'm sure they're doing it again. The Lord of hosts is her name. And I have put my words in your mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people, my daughter. You are my daughter. And we know this because it takes us all over to Isaiah 52. Awake, awake, stand up, O peaceful one, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of her fury, that has drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out. So mother was mad because of all the false accusations that Adam was testifying to was going on in the earth. You know what he was calling her? He was calling her a harlot. She wasn't being called a virgin. And the same idea of her being eternal, like her mother, comes up with Shebna, who went up, was accused of cutting herself out a sepulchre with the kings. Well, no, they got it a he, of course. They changed all the pronouns. But it's a she. And that's what Mother is so mad at her about. And she says, you were eternal. Why would you cut yourself out a sepulchre with kings that die, with men that die? So they have, men is what you're going to get. Men have tried to mingle their seed with these daughters. Why? Because the daughters are eternal and they create. Yes, you're not going to say they don't. That's what this is about. That's what this is all about when you get your context right. So it says, there is none to guide her, who? The presence of God in the earth, among all the sons whom she has brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up. So again, we get the mingling of men's seed with her seed, which is an eternal seed, really, is what you're looking at. These two things are come unto thee, who shall be sorry for thee, desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. We go on here. Therefore, hear now this, thou who is afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. You got drunk on religious lies, is what you got drunk on. And in a sense, when you chose to drink that down, you drunk down the cup of fury. That's what you drunk down. When you drink down this religious lie, the admixture of doctrine in the cup called wine, which is a man's blood washing you clean, you're drunk on it. It also becomes a cup of fury that you're drinking down. Thus saith thy Lord the God, thy God that pleadeth the cause of her people, and she does. She's pleading the cause for her people through daughters like me. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. Thank you, Mother Wisdom. We will never drink it again. She is going to provide us food and shelter always, because we are found to be her daughter, holding her law on our tongue and in our hearts. They want their male idols, and they're going to get them. Yeah, because when this Lord gets caught up to her mother's throne, then it's her law that it's actually her law that they're waiting on, it says. And then she comes down, she parts the clouds. Well, in Revelations, it says, then the heavens will depart. Yeah, she's parting it as she comes in. And they'll mourn, it says, over the one whom they denied. And that ain't a son. You denied her. That's who you denied. And, but then it's her law, and she will determine who lives and who dies, according to that. Thus saith our Lord the God, and the God that pleadeth the cause of her people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I'll put it into the hand of them that afflicted thee, that which have said, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over, to the men that went over her. They walk all over you with their man law, and they use the religious lie of God, Father, and Son to write the law and put a yoke on daughter Zion's name, suppressing her and saying that these children are not her seed. But they did mingle themselves. Didn't the sons mingle themselves? They did. They went up and they ripped the glory away from these daughters. They ripped the garment off. They wanted to mingle with the seed of these women because they came from eternity. Yes. And they create. And that's why Mother gets mad at her daughters. And becomes, in a sense, a dragoness against them. I know. You can call me crazy. I don't really care. Father ain't God. Son ain't God. And it says as much, too, in Ecclesiastes 12. We'll go with this. In Ecclesiastes 12, what does it say about man? So if you're of his seed, you're going to go where? What does it say? I'll get there. No, it's got to be up to the front here. I'm missing it. Right there in verse 5. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, what's high? And fears shall be in the way, and the almond branch shall flourish, and the grasshopper soldier shall be a burden, and desire shall fail. Desire. What's desire? Sexual intimacy, sexual desire shall fail. Because, why? Because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the street. See? I don't care what you say, there's something bigger going on here. There's a much larger view on this than we ever thought. And it does so have to do with Parthenogenesis and why she's called the virgin daughter. Yes. And takes us to the constellation of Draco. Does. Anyway, there's the video. Somebody has to say these things that nobody thinks, I guess, and it's on me to say them. And I don't care what you say, it's there. I don't care. Our beginnings looked very differently than what they look right now. Yes, there's been a lot of mingling going on and a lot of lying by those sons at the top trying to achieve what? Eternal life. When all they had to do was follow her law. But you know what? I think they got it in their head. We'll just say we're gonna. Once we get them here, then we'll just take it and it'll be ours. They just didn't realize what they were messing around with. And they still don't. Most of them just don't want to hear the truth. And it sounds silly. That's fine. Foolishness of God. Yeah. It's what it's going to sound like, but it's really not. It's for those with wise hearts who will hear the law and the way it was always intended to be and not the way man made it. So anyway, there's the video. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a lovely day, and I hope y'all blessed with an abundance of truth. And thanks for watching again.